Now, another most famous question that we always have in our mind is what kind of jobs we get in interior designing and what is the salary that we get in interior designing. Hi everyone, this is Vaishali and welcome back to my YouTube channel. I am an architect and interior designer and on this channel I make videos related to interior designing and architecture. So आज की वीडियो जो है वो काफ़ी ज़्यादा डिफरेंट वीडियो है एंड स्पेशली ये उन लोगों के लिए है जो कि अपना करियर बिल्ड करने का प्लान कर रहे हैं इंटीरियर डिजाइनिंग या आर्किटेक्चर में. So this is going to be like a guide for you guys. I'm going to be answering few questions जो इनिशियली हमारे दिमाग में आते हैं जब भी हम कोई करियर चूज कर रहे होते हैं. आई होप दिस वीडियो हेल्प्स यू गाइज एंड यू फाइंड इट इन्फॉर्मेटिव. नाउ विदाउट वेस्टिंग एनी फर्दर टाइम लेट्स गेट स्टार्टेड विद टुडेस वीडियो. सबसे पहले मैं अपने एक्सपीरियंस के बारे में थोड़ा सा बता देती हूँ. नाउ आई हैव 5+ years ऑफ एक्सपीरियंस इन आर्किटेक्चर एंड इंटीरियर डिजाइनिंग बोथ. मैंने दोनों टाइप के प्रोजेक्ट्स किए हैं. आई एम एन आर्किटेक्ट. आई हैव डन माई ग्रेजुएशन इन आर्किटेक्चर, बैचलर्स ऑफ आर्किटेक्चर, जो 5 years का कोर्स होता है दैट. नाउ इनिशियली व्हेन आई स्टार्टेड माई करियर आई स्टार्टेड विद कोर आर्किटेक्चरल प्रोजेक्ट्स. 2.5 years तक I practiced main core architectural projects and later on धीरे धीरे करके I got into interior designing and I realized that I'm more inclined towards interior designing and I'm more interested in interior designing. That is how I switched from architecture to interior designing and now I am working as a full-time interior designer. Initially I worked on all sorts of project, educational हो गया, residential हो गया, commercial हो गया, retail projects हो गए, हर टाइप के प्रोजेक्ट्स आई वॉज इन्वॉल्व इन. बट लेटर ऑन आई स्पेसिफिकली स्टार्टेड वर्किंग इन रेसिडेंशियल प्रोजेक्ट्स. आई मीन द कंपनीज जिनके साथ आई वॉज वर्किंग, आई चोज दोज कंपनीज हु आर मोर इन टू रेसिडेंशियल इंटीरियर डिजाइनिंग वर्क. दैट इज हाउ आई गॉट इन टू इंटीरियर डिजाइनिंग ऑफ रेसिडेंशियल वर्क मेजरली. So now that I have 5+ years of experience, I think I have that credibility to talk about this particular field. And also I feel that every architect and interior designer has their own journey and everybody has different things to talk about. So experience की बात होती है. I am going to be sharing my experience and obviously सबका अपना अलग experience होता है, opinion of thoughts होते हैं सबके अलग अलग, but this is completely based on my journey and my experience. So I hope you guys like this video. Now let's start with the question. तो सबसे पहला question ये रहता है, is interior designing a good career? नाउ इनिशियल थॉट जो रहता है वो दिमाग में यही आता है कि ये करियर हमारे लिए है कि नहीं है. इज इट गुड और इज इट बैड? नाउ व्हाट आई फील इज दैट एवरी करियर इज गुड इन इट्स ओन सेंस. इट्स ऑल अबाउट पैशन. इफ यू हैव पैशन फॉर समथिंग, इफ यू हैव विल टू डू समथिंग गुड इन दैट पर्टिकुलर करियर, देन इट इज डेफिनेटली अ गुड करियर. कुछ चीज़ें जो मैं पॉइंट आउट करूँगी इसमें फर्स्ट है पैशन टू लर्न, बिकॉज इंटीरियर डिजाइनिंग इज अ वेरी क्रिएटिव फील्ड एंड दिस इज ऑल अबाउट लर्निंग. यू नीड टू हैव दैट पैशन to learn new things every single day. You have to be creative even if you are not creative, but still what matters is you should have that passion. And even if you don't have passion, still you want to get into interior designing, then you should have that will ki haan, I can work in this field, I have that capabilities and I have that skills. And even if you don't have those skills, you need to work on those skills and do better and do good. Next point is creativity. Now interior designing is obviously a very creative field. You need to be very creative. You need to have creative ideas, creative thoughts होना चाहिए, creative mindset होना चाहिए. Even if अगर आप creative नहीं भी हो, then you should have that capability कि आप उस टाइप से सोच सकते हो. If you have that capability that you can think in that creative direction, if you're willing to work in the creative field, then definitely that's a plus point. It's just that you need to have that mindset that it is a creative field and you need to come up with different ideas, different thoughts, different concepts at every single time. So be very clear about that thing. If you think that you cannot explore your mind in that creative way and you don't think that in long term you won't be able to do it, then please drop the idea क्योंकि बहुत ज़्यादा creative होना is important in this field. And it's not just about creativity. अगर आपके अंदर creativity है भी है, if you have creative thoughts, creative ideas, if you're not able to implement those ideas, then it is not going to work out for you. Trust me, in that case you need certain skill sets. You need that personality that you can work on those things. So this is very important. एक और चीज़, अगर आप बहुत ज़्यादा पैशनेट हैं, शुरू से आप चाहते हैं कि आपको इंटीरियर डिज़ाइनर ही बनना है, इसमें ही जाना है, you have that interest, then definitely go for it. Definitely this is a career for you. And अगर आपको पसंद है करना, once you get into it, if you will love it, then only get into it. And वो चीज़ तो पता नहीं होती कि बाद में जाने के बाद में पसंद आएगा कि नहीं आएगा, because trust me on this, बहुत बार ऐसा होता है कि हमको लगता है कि मुझे ये करना है, ये करना है, but then once you get into it and once you start working on those things, you don't feel like doing it. So be very clear about it, what exactly you want. So what I would say is, it is definitely a good career. If you are clear about these things in your head, then definitely go for it. Now next question that I'm going to take here is how to become an architect or interior designer. Now this is a very common question. This is very simple as well. If you're clear in your head that you want to become architect or interior designer, actually anybody can become interior designer and architect, as long as you have that passion, as long as you have that mindset ki हाँ मुझे करना है. Anybody can do it. It's just that be prepared to be open to a lot of new learning every single time. It's all about learning. You need to learn so many things on your own as well, and in colleges also they'll teach you things, but practically करने के बाद में चीज़ें जितनी ज़्यादा समझ में आती है उतनी ज़्यादा कॉलेज में नहीं समझ में आती है, क्योंकि अल्टीमेटली प्रैक्टिकल एक्सपीरियंस ही मैटर करता है. यू गेट टू नो थिंग्स बेटर. एक्चुअल में चीज़ें कैसी होती है वो प्रैक्टिकल एक्सपीरियंस से ही पता चलता है. सो यू नीड टू बी वेरी क्यूरियस अबाउट थिंग्स. इफ यू आर नॉट क्यूरियस then it might not be for you. I think anybody can become architect and interior designer as long as they have passion for it, as long as they have curious mindset, as long as they have that passion to learn new things every single day. Now next question I'm going to take here is, what are the criteria of appearing in the entrance exam? Now as I told you guys, the criteria is very simple. 10th plus 12th passed out होना चाहिए, and then you can give examinations of different college. There are entrance examination based on the colleges, and also कुछ colleges ऐसे हैं जिनकी खुद की entrance exams भी होती है, तो that way you need to decide which college you want to get into. Now next question I'm going to take here is how to prepare. This is a very interesting question. When I was planning to get into architecture, I had this question in my mind throughout. उतना ज़्यादा exposure नहीं होता था इंटरनेट का. So how I got into architecture is, मेरे पास बहुत सारे मेरे दिमाग में क्वेश्चंस होते थे. अच्छा करियर है कि नहीं है, जॉब अपॉर्चुनिटीज क्या रहेंगी, कितने टाइम का है, एंड ऑल दोस थिंग्स. सिंस चाइल्डहुड आई वाज ऑलवेज इनटू दीज क्रिएटिव थिंग्स एंड आई वांटेड टू डू समथिंग डिफरेंट अदर देन इंजीनियरिंग. सो दैट्स द रीजन आई गॉट इनटू आर्किटेक्चर. नाउ मैंने प्रिपेयर कैसे किया था, दैट आई विल टेल यू. इसके लिए सबसे पहले यू हैव टू डिसाइड व्हिच कोर्स you want to do. Specifically, you want to get into interior designing course, only you want to do architecture, you want to do a diploma. So those things you need to be very clear about. Then based on those courses you can explore the colleges on the basis of categories. जो categories हैं courses की, b.arch हो गया, bachelor of design हो गया, interior designing diploma courses हो गया, सबके colleges अलग अलग हैं. उसके basis पे you can select the college, कौन से colleges आपके preference में हैं, and then on the basis of colleges you can see कि उन colleges के लिए कौन कौन से entrance exams है जो कि you can give and get admission into those colleges. So this should be the process. First of all, you need to be very clear about the courses. आपको कितना time spend करना है courses में, because diploma is 2.5 years का होता है, then bachelors of architecture जो है वो 5 साल का होता है, then bachelors of design is 3 years plus का होता है. So all these questions you need to have that checklist. Do not worry, I will share the checklist of these questions at the end of the video, and also I'll mention it on description box. वहाँ से you can go through the checklist and see all the questions, क्या क्या questions है before planning to get into it. इन सारे points के you need to have a very clear cut answers. Now next question that we have in our mind is how to choose the colleges. Now colleges you can choose on the basis of courses, as I've mentioned in the previous point. Once you have decided which course you want to go for, if you want to go for architecture, then there are colleges like IITs, NITs, SPAs and other private colleges which you get, but they have different exams for that. There used to be 2 exams to get into IIT, NITs and SPA colleges. This was way back when I was getting into architecture. At the moment it's completely changed. At that time there used to be this AIEEE exams, All India Entrance Examination, but that now converted into JEE mains. So through that exam you can get into colleges like IIT, NITs and other colleges as well. You can just Google it and you will get the entire list of colleges that you get through JEE mains. Now there are private colleges as well for architecture. They have their own entrance exams as well, and also in some private colleges which are reputed colleges, you can get into those colleges through NATA. There is this exam NATA. So that's that. In Mumbai also there are 2-3 colleges. One is JJ College of Arts, and there are some other colleges as well which are very reputed colleges. So they have their own entrance exam through which you can get into those colleges. So you need to be very clear first about the course which you want to do, and then according to that you can decide the colleges. Now next question is, what are the skills required? Now first thing, obviously you need to have passion, you need to have a creative mindset, you need to be very creative, and you need to be able to think differently, you need to be able to think out of the box. Also, it's not just about the ideas ki haan abhi ideas to hai creative, but you need to know how to implement those ideas as well. You need to know how to explain those ideas, how to convert those ideas into reality. You need to have that passion. You need to be open to new learning every now and then, as I've mentioned already. So that's the second thing. Then there are some technical skills, like you need to know the softwares well. If even if you are not very good with softwares, try to learn on your own, because in college we don't get that practical knowledge. Everything you need to do on your own. If you want to strengthen your skills, you need to learn on your own. You need to be able to explore more and more. You have to have that curiosity to learn new things. Now third very important point that I would suggest you guys is improve yourself on regular basis. That is very important. Make sure that you give a lot of time to yourself, a lot of time to improve yourself, make yourself better and better, and strengthen your skills. That is very, very, very important, because trust me, nothing is better than improving your own self. Giving time to yourself is the best thing you can do. Another thing that I would like to highlight here is work on your strengths. Do not focus on your weaknesses, rather work on your strengths, because when you focus more on your weaknesses, you forget about your strengths. So that's the thing you need to be very aware of, and just keep that thing in mind. Just write down what are your strengths. If you're good in communication skills, then try and improvise those. Ultimately, in interior designing and architecture, what matters the most is teamwork. Teamwork is very important. You need to have that good connection with your team members, your colleagues. That way you can do so much better, and your growth is definitely going to happen very, very, very soon. It's all about building a network. I mean, it's a general saying, it's all about building a network, and you can reach greater heights. Now next thing is quality. Now quality is, as I've mentioned, you need to have a good communication skills. Another interesting point that I would like to mention here is, there are two types of people. One, those people who love what they do, and another category is people who do what they love. You need to decide which one are you. That's very important actually, because abhi aisa hai na ki if you got into architecture, interior designing, and you're not liking it, you need to love what you're doing. In that case, you're not doing what you love. I hope you got my point. Now next question is drawing necessary for interior designing? See, it's completely not necessary that you need to be very good with sketching and all that. That is definitely a plus point if you know how to draw well, and if you can, put your ideas, your thoughts into paper through sketches, that is better. So it's always better if you have some idea and you are able to implement those ideas in paper through sketches. It's a good point, but it's not necessary that you need to have a good sketching skills or something like that. That only matters when you are in college. After college, it's not really necessary. Once you get into practical world, when you start working practically, you understand how things work. So mostly you work on softwares, so in that case sketching is not very much required. What required is your skills and your attitude towards your work. That is more important, because in 5+ years I have not really used sketching that much. I only remember when I used to sketch in college, when I was working on my projects, when we used to have design problems and we need to prepare concept for that. Only then I used to sketch the concept through sketching, and apart from that I never did sketching like projects ke liye. But otherwise I really like sketching. Like, it's one of my hobby. I've been doing that since childhood, so that's one more reason for me to get into architecture. Okay, next question is, what is the examinations called? So there used to be aieed, which is JEE mains now, as I've already mentioned that. Then there is NATA, then there is NID, National Institute of Design के लिए कुछ examination होती है वो. And apart from that, there are private colleges. So once you are finalized your college, which category of college you want to get into, then accordingly you can give exams. You can Google it. You'll get all the information on Google. Now, another most famous question that we always have in our mind is what kind of jobs we get in interior designing and what is the salary that we get in interior designing. Now, I'll tell you one thing. If you have done architecture, then you have a lot of options. Like, you can work in different fields because architecture is not just about interiors. Architecture में भी काफ़ी सारी चीज़ें होती है. इसमें interior designing होती है, then इसमें landscaping होती है, product designing होती है, graphic designing होती है, 3D modeling, and there are so many things. There are so many opportunities that you can work on. Once you've done your architecture, you can choose which field you want to get into, and then accordingly you can search for the studios which were mostly focused on architectural projects, core architectural projects. I started with those, and gradually I realized that I was more into interior designing, so I started searching for offices which were more inclined towards interior designing. There is one company where they used to do architectural projects as well and interior projects as well. So when I joined that company, I told them clearly I'm more interested into interior designing works. So they hired me as an architect, but again they let me work on the project which were more inclined towards interior designing. So it's like that. So if you are an architect, you have lot many opportunities that you can work on different fields. But if you have done diploma in interior designing only, then you'll get that sort of work only. So in that sense, if you see, architecture is somehow better than interior designing. So it's better you go for architecture, but that's a 4 years course, so you need to be very sure if you want to invest your 5 years in architecture. About salary, there is little bit of struggle, but after 2 years of experience, you do get quite good salary. I mean, if you know how to reach from here to here, then your salary will be good no matter what. So it all depends on your personal skills, your interpersonal skills, your communication skills, your ability to connect with people, your ability to build more contacts, your ability to make network, and yeah, all these things matter. It's not just about drawing, it's not just about creativity. So once you complete your graduation, after that, once you start doing things practically, you get lot more exposure. You know how actually things work. So be very sure about all the points that I mentioned in this video, and you can check out the description box. I will mention the list of questions, the checklist that you need to go through before getting into architecture. So yeah guys, this was the video. I hope you guys find this video informative and helpful, and काफी सारे questions के answers भी मिल गए होंगे. If you did like this video, then do not forget to give it a big thumbs up and also subscribe to my channel if you haven't already for more such videos or more such content related to interior designing and architecture. And yeah, that's it for this video. I will see you very soon in my next video. Bye.